Daily Evening News. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Monday, April 4th, 2022, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hello, and thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ+ experience. We bring you the best of LGBTQ+ news, entertainment, and support of our community.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She's a radio and television personality and has a popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together, and a world-class mugger.
She's
right? A hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Fays for her family. Also, make sure to catch the FayWhat Show, the first LGBTQ+ morning show, Mondays at 9 a.m. Eastern, online or, of course, on your smart television. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, homos. I love you guys. I'm so excited. I had a great time last night watching the Grammys with one of my besties in the whole world, and I've decided that I want to come back in my next life and be Megan Thee Stallion. That's it. That's all I got for you. All right. Next up, let's welcome anchor, Dr. Mr. Handsome Tai Houser. He's an associate professor of English and humanities at Broward College. Additionally, he teaches for extended periods of time at international colleges in China, India, Spain, and Bolivia. And all those countries throws him out and brings him back to the U.S. every single time. Good evening, Tai.
My passport has only been revoked in 2 of them. Thank you, Faye. Let's welcome anchor Dino Mosquera. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in the late 90s and now serves on the Outshine Film Festival's board of directors. He is now the screening committee chairman, selecting films for one of America's most important LGBTQ+ film festivals. Welcome, Dino.
Thank you, Tai. Hey, I want to tell you about the film festival actually starting April 22nd, and it goes through May 1st. We yesterday had the first party to release the program. The program is live now at outshinefilm.com. We have a wonderful festival coming up in Miami. Our opening April 22nd is a wonderful movie, B-Boys Clues, and it's going to be at the Lyric Theater in Overtown in Miami. The rest of the festival at the Regal South Beach. So all our films will be there. Some of them will be virtual, but at the theater, we're welcoming back people at the theater. We have a wonderful centerpiece, by the way, a lesbian film.
Yes, the Women's Spotlight film.
The women, the girl picture. And we have a wonderful closing film at Central River Theater in Little River in Miami. So check it out, outshinefilm.com. So now, let's welcome anchor Gregg Shaprio, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 8 books, including his latest, Fear of Muses, an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and music reviews running a variety of regional LGBTQ+ and mainstream publications and websites. His movie review column called Screensaver can be found in South Florida Gay News, San Francisco Bay Area Reporter, RottenTomatoes.com, and more. Good evening, Gregg.
Happy National Hug a News Person Day.
I knew it.
And you're hugging yourself.
I don't
There's 5 people at this table, and you're hugging yourself.
I don't really like to be hugged. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight. And this evening, we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ+ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the Queer News for today, Monday, April 4th.
Well, let's begin by queering up South Florida and Florida. Fox News, I always stop there, and Florida Governor DeSantis declare war to punish Disney over opposition to Don't Say Gay. Watch this.
Disney continues to dig itself in a giant mouse hole on this issue by advocating for sexual lesson plans for 5 to 7-year-olds. So a boycott Disney movement has begun apparently across America. And now Governor DeSantis is considering eliminating the special status that Disney receives from the state.
There are certain entities that have exerted a lot of influence through corporate means to generate special privileges in the law. I don't think we should have special privileges in the law at all. They've got so far over their skis on this parental rights stuff because I think they're used to having their way, and they're not used to having people that will stand in their way and say, actually, the state of Florida is going to be governed by the best interests of the people in Florida. You know, we're certainly not going to bend a knee to woke executives in California.
Well, Friday night on Fox News, 3 hours, starting with Tucker, then to Sean, and then what you saw on Laura on this story. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has decided to take on Walt Disney World in a war that could ruin him or possibly destroy the largest international tourist destination in the world. In 1967, the state of Florida passed the Reedy Creek Improvement Act that created a new government for Disney and allowed Walt and his crews to develop their plans for Disney World without needing to get zoning or construction permits from the state or the county. This was meant to help with things like Epcot, that was originally meant to be a housing community. Now DeSantis is looking to revoke the act as punishment for Disney becoming a woke corporation. Those are his words. And speaking out against the Don't Say Gay bill. How this will affect the $75.2 billion economic impact on Central Florida, the 463,000 jobs, and the $5.8 billion in state tax revenue remains to be seen.
I have to say, I don't understand him, because you'd think with all of that income on the table that he's going to be this horrible to the company. And as also for being the love child of Ursula the Sea Witch and Jafar, you'd think he'd be nicer to Disney.
So this Reedy Act, is that kind of like the reservations, like the Indian reservations, where they're able to have like their own city, their own kind of... When
you go to Walt Disney World,
I've been arrested there. I got put in the little thingy.
Oh, okay.
Or what?
That operates as
detained. It's called detained.
It's detained. It operates in its own environment at Walt Disney World. So you'll see Reedy Creek for the fire department and police, and it does many things. It allows Walt Disney World and the Disney Corporation to speed through the process of preventing the very great time lags that would happen. If they were here in Broward County, the time to develop would probably quadruple in time. So it was designed to attract Disney in '67, Walt Disney specifically, and designed to speed the process of their development, because the assumption was, in goodwill by Florida politicians and the citizens of Florida, that Disney's growth would be good for Disney. And of course,
it was
50 years, it has,
Right.
until you speak against
That's right.
a governor of Florida. And
This is interesting. This is an interesting move. Because it brings, well, the cultural battle basically moves, the epicenter is now in the state of Florida because of Ron DeSantis, but he's taking on a big guy here, the Disney Corporation. So Disney, that has also, tried to keep, the Republicans happy, also donated money in the past to the Republican legislator in the state of Florida. But this is the time when you gotta put the money where your mouth is, and they're gonna have to come out and declare war on this guy.
Governor DeSantis has doubled down here. Basically, that's what happened in this last week. Fox News has joined the front to double down with the governor. Why is he doing this? Why is the governor doubling down?
Because the election's this year.
And because he can.
And because he thinks he's going to be
Because
president.
later this year he's going to be up for re-election. So what is that? Basically, no news is good,
good
news.
news.
So in his case, he wants to bring attention to him,
And this is
mostly from the right.
No, and this is an incredible way to draw attention to you. You're trying to take out the biggest organization in Florida that employs the most LGBTQ people, employs the most people, period, in Florida. They do get a lot of tax breaks, but they deserve all those tax breaks.
Exactly right.
That's the reason why we don't have state income tax, right? I mean, is because of Disney and the parks. But I don't think this is such a big deal. I think it's going to blow up in DeSantis' face.
Why do you think?
You think?
Just because you can't beat Disney.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think you can. And Disney's going to make one announcement that says, oh, P.S., instead of bringing your state another 10 million jobs with this project, we're actually going to take it to California, or we're going to take it to someplace else.
And they can totally do that.
And they can
You're
totally do
absolutely
that.
right. They've got the money behind them to do so. And then how is Florida left? We all got to leave Florida.
I want to focus on one. The Disney story is incredible.
It
really is incredible. They made a big mistake in not saying anything at first.
They tried.
Then they apologized. Then they made a positive statement. Then they came in farther. Then they stood up, and then they said, after it was passed, we're going to work to get it repealed or have it defeated in the courts. And all hell broke loose. But one of the things I'm curious about is Disney is under full attack. You know, the enemy of our enemy becomes your friend. The governor is now the enemy of Disney, and Fox News is now the enemy of Disney. So almost without exception, that means Disney is now your friend. Regardless of your position, they're now your friend. What about the LGBTQ community that is still clamoring on boycott, boycott, boycott? Will this create any changes in LGBT on their thinking about Disney?
That's, you know, I thought about that and how the right and all their families that go to Disney, how are they going to follow through with that? They're going to probably support, the boycott. So, and that's money for Disney. So, yes, I mean, I'm all for, taking our side, but they have their way too, the
And
right.
specifically, is LGBT going to forgive the process because Disney, at the end of the day, even if it was late, they came to the door?
I sure hope so, Al, because I mean, just like Disney's being attacked by DeSantis, we're constantly attacked by DeSantis, So instead of like bickering towards Disney, we should be unifying with them and saying, okay, we're going to stop boycotting you and protesting. Let's do something about this horrible man that is governing our state.
It's interesting to me. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, all Disney has to do is just show us what they've done. Give them another 6 months and they can say, okay, well, look, here's what we've done, X, Y, and Z, and we'll be right back at Disney World.
They gave $5 million, correct? They offered $5 million and HRC took it.
Yeah. I haven't heard that answer.
But where is their money? I mean, are they giving now, Disney, giving money now to the Democrats that are running for re-election?
They're not giving it to anybody.
They're not giving any money at all. But I think the most important issue with Disney is their statement last week. We covered it Wednesday in our special on Wednesday with all of the major political voices in Florida that fought Don't Say Gay. Disney basically made it absolutely clear. The reason this has happened with Fox and DeSantis is on Wednesday they said, we stand with our LGBT employees. We stand for the LGBTQ organizations in the state of Florida that are fighting this, and we won't be satisfied until we reverse Don't Say Gay or we see it defeated in the courts. There was no ambiguity. It was complete support of LGBT in Florida.
And that's it. So we wait and see. So we wait and see.
All right.
All right. Well, we're going to continue on with Fox News. HRC demotes Fox from top workplace list following Fox News LGBTQ+ hate news. Fox was, until recently, listed as an HRC top workplace. Fox News coverage of the Don't Say Gay bill has changed that. They recently deducted 25 points from their 100% rating. HRC press secretary Aaron Fields said in a statement, quote, Fox News has a history of sharing misinformation and disinformation about the LGBTQ+ community. We know from our own research, which we put out earlier this week, what their disinformation and misinformation means for the LGBTQ+ community, perpetuating stigma and marginalization of transgender and non-binary people. At a time when transgender people, especially transgender children, are under attack in state houses across the country, rhetoric has real consequences. We can no longer allow Fox Corporation to maintain its score if Fox News personalities and contributors continue to deny the existence of transgender people, minimize the violence of transgender individuals, minimize the violence that transgender individuals face, refer to parents of LGBTQ plus youth as perverts, or equate leaders of LGBTQ plus diversity and inclusion efforts with sex offenders. Each of these actions happened in the last 72 hours. Enough is enough.
Okay, let's get something clear though. So Fox News is a part of Fox Corporation, right? So Fox Corporation is a whole huge organization.
Printing,
okay.
movies,
Family Guy,
20th century.
Family
Exactly.
Guy.
There's so many.
The murder.
Okay. And so Fox News is just a small little part of it, right? And so for what Fox News does on a daily basis, they're basically taking 25 points off. I thought they were going to take 25 points off because they just hired Caitlyn Jenner. For that, I would just take off 100 points, to be completely honest.
Well, and that shows how clueless they are. They trotted out that old war horse. I mean, the thing is, she's long overdue to be sent to the glue factory. I mean, enough is enough.
You just call her a horse, Greg?
Wow.
No, and the thing is that they think that because they hire Caitlyn Jenner, they are doing fine by us. This is, I mean,
they know we don't like her either.
They're
They're
clueless.
enemies.
She's not one of us. She can't sit at our table.
That's right. She doesn't even go here.
She doesn't even go here. Wow.
Real
Mean Girls
Mean Girls.
tonight. All right.
The real thing, though, is that the HRC was very clear. In the last 72 hours, you have produced this much hate, and that's why.
Yeah.
A division of your company in 72 hours has done this much hate. That's why we're doing it.
So they agree with Putin, basically.
Yeah. Well, and Russia is full-fledged. Please watch Fox News. You know you got a problem when Putin is doing that. But I'm forced to ask the question. We just did the story in terms of what Fox News and Governor DeSantis is saying about Disney. In Disney's what did Disney do wrong? As a corporate entity, they expressed their free speech on something that was happening legislatively in Florida. They have the constitutional right to do that. Why? Because Republicans were able to get before the Supreme Court that money was free speech. And that's why they changed everything in terms of the money process.
Right.
So now Disney's doing the exact same thing, and it's a terrible process. Depends on which side of the fence that you said, the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah.
But it seems to me, why in that term of hypocrisy, why are we not via the HRC being hypocrites? Because we're saying we're going to punish the one of the best workplaces in the country because of the speech of one of the divisions of the workplace. Don't they have the right to say this?
Well, wasn't that also the issue with the number of LGBTQ people working at Disney, and gay people were going to boycott Disney until Disney spoke up? So this is sort of the same thing. It just keeps happening over and over. And you know what? If you hurt us, we'll hurt back. And when you're nice to us, we'll be nice. That's just how it works.
They have the right to have their opinions, of course, Al, but they don't have the right to spew the misinformation that they constantly do on a daily basis. They don't. Okay, they are a news organization. They're supposed to give credible information, like we do.
Help me, I was going to say, the number of people that are lining up in Twitter right now saying, wait a minute, not queer news tonight. We have lots and lots of trolls.
We do.
My question is, many conservatives in America would say the exact same thing that we would say about Fox News. Please don't ever attack my best friend, Tucker Carlson, right?
Your boo.
It's my boo. Those are fighting words. But many people would say the exact same thing in conservative circles about the Washington Post and the New York Times. How do you decide this is right speech and this is wrong speech? And isn't that what HRC is doing here? This is wrong.
This is hate speech, and this is not hate speech.
That's
I think is where you come down on the line.
Right. When it comes down to it, if kids are killing themselves because of their speech that they're promoting, there are consequences. It's not just as, we're saying that, Tucker Carlson is just, promoting certain hotels. No, they're promoting hate And that has to have consequences.
So at the table, our conclusion is the HRC was right to do this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Right to punish the workplace
Yes.
rating. Okay, we're going to follow this story.
Next, we queer up South Florida and Florida. Florida's LGBTQ plus Senator Shevrin Jones joins Biden administration for HBCU. On Wednesday of last week, Queer News Tonight had a special edition show that featured several Florida state lawmakers. One of the in-studio anchors was Florida Senator and my own Senator, number 35, baby, Shevrin Shev Jones. Shev has been involved in this fight against the Don't Say Gay bill since the beginning and is keen on involvement in education. So involved that President Biden announced on Thursday that Senator Jones will be joining the president's board of advisors on historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs. Shev knew about this on Wednesday's broadcast, but he managed to keep the secret from everyone, including white man. He didn't even tell Al or me.
What?
This is great news. And I can't believe that he didn't tell us on Wednesday. Shev, what's up, man? What's the deal? I'm your constituent.
I'm going to be texting Shevrin Jones right after this show.
Well, and with his increasingly high profile, it'd be nice if someday soon he runs for president.
Yeah.
It is certainly great news because it's a reflection of his growing brand, and let's face it, that's very, very important because the strength of your brand in politics leads to the strength of appointments or other elections or the power and influence that you have. And having a state senator, we remind everybody that Senator Jones is the first LGBTQ senator in Florida. All stop.
Out.
Isn't that terrible that we say that? It's magical and wonderful and terrible all at the same time.
Yeah.
So as a result, seeing this promotion, not promotion, but seeing this recognition in the Biden administration is really very powerful for the Florida LGBTQ
Well, and the
community.
HBCUs are the best schools in the country. They're doing the best work. And to be part of a voice that is informing and making decisions with and for them is a great honor. And I'm so glad that, Florida is remembered Florida is honored as having someone who's not a DeSantis drone.
Right? And I love him, and he's so respected. I mean, he has cried on the floor, okay, and he's still respected. You know, like he's never showed like a sign of weakness. It's been like, this is who I am emotionally. This brings tears to my eyes that my father couldn't see me doing this, this, and this. I am an openly out black gay man representing Florida to the fullest.
Yeah.
He's an incredible man.
And I would say Faye makes me cry at least twice a week, and no, it's not a good thing.
That's when she shows up.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Sorry, and a little side note, somebody else that was also appointed to that board was Taraji B. Henson.
That's right.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, and I love her.
I did see that. And one last note to our esteemed first out LGBTQ senator in Florida history. Queer News Tonight is a news show. So when you were here Wednesday, we could have made a little news. All right.
Okay, so now let's queer up the worldview. Hungary's national LGBTQ plus referendum is in. The results are: on Sunday, Hungary held their elections and anti-LGBTQ plus Prime Minister Viktor Orban won a fourth term. There is good news concerning the LGBTQ plus referendum, which was voted on at the same time. The referendum was very similar to Florida's new Don't Say Gay bill and meant to double down on anti-LGBTQ plus policy in the name of protecting children. The people of Hungary have spoken on all 4 points of the referendum. Point 1 was a vote on if public schools could teach about sexual orientation without parental consent. Point 2 was a vote if people supported giving children information about gender reassignment. Point 3 was written in a propaganda style and asked if media representing content of a sexual nature that might affect a child's development to be shown, aka media that presents LGBTQ plus people in a positive light. And point 4 was if people were in favor of showing students media that concern gender reassignment. About 44% of Hungarians voted yes on each of these points, with only about 20% voting no.
And who the hell wrote these? DeSantis? Like, doesn't it just sound like his writing when I was reading this? I mean, think about it. Do you support teaching of sexual orientation to underage children in public schools without consent? Like, think about it. I mean, you're first, I'm gay, and I'm like, no, of course not. You know?
You know, there's a gang of despots in the world. Bolsonaro in Brazil, Erdogan in Turkey, Putin in Russia, Orban in Hungary, and DeSantis in Florida. All would come to the exact same conclusion. One point that we should make clear, 20% voted no, but that still was enough for it to be defeated, because if you did not vote, it was considered a no vote. So actually 56% of the Hungarian public voted no on adopting these amendments, so they were not adopted.
Right, but the fact that he was reelected by such
He
a
had 6
large
opponents.
Right.
And he beat them all.
and actually, you know, in the current situation with Ukraine, Urban in Hungary has always been like very supportive of Putin. And we know how, you know, anti-LGBT laws are written in Russia, so I'm not surprised that this is happening in Hungary. Same in Poland, Duda, the same way, where they claim for gay-free spaces, or he tried that. So the fact that, you know, he's now running again. Do you know that he's only 58 years old?
Yeah.
He looks like so much older, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's beside the point. But he's now staying there for so long. For LGBTQ people, and you know, it's not. I mean, it's not really that great.
Well, I think he never got over being rejected as a Bellamy model.
Oh,
Joan, you've been waiting all day to tell that joke. Wow. Look it up, by the way, Bellamy.
right, that was from the 90s.
You know, right, that's why that joke was so good. One other interesting thing is we're glad that this was defeated. He'll continue to pursue this regardless. He'll try to find different ways to do it. I also thought it was interesting. Hungary is one of the principal places that LGBTQ has evacuated out of Ukraine to.
Yeah.
And for everything that we've reported on so far, Hungary has done a very, very good job in protecting LGBT. So we have to get that out there and to say we, as part of the LGBTQ community, thank Hungary and especially Poland for their treatment of LGBT. But distressing and disturbing yesterday, in his acceptance speech, he criticized the Ukrainian president in his speech. And at this moment, on the same day that the reporting is that they're withdrawing out of certain towns and going house to house and pulling them out and shooting them in the head, to criticize the Ukrainian president, I thought at best was a strange and bizarre moment of what we have to look forward to from this 50-year-old.
And now we queer up entertainment. The Grammys are so gay. While the Oscars had some great LGBTQ plus moments, we're over them already. This weekend, we had the Grammy Awards to bring us new and exciting moments, but thankfully no one got assaulted. One of our favorite moments started with a joke between gay icons Dua Lipa and Megan Thee Stallion, joking about having similar outfits. In a move that would make any queen proud, Donatella Versace marched on stage and pulled away parts of their outfits in the fastest makeover on TV. We also got to see the cast of RuPaul's Drag Race Live walk the red carpet. Out country musician TJ Osborne and his brother won their first Grammy as the Brothers Osborne. TJ is the first and only out country music star signed to a major label. There was also an amazing performance by Lil Nas X and more. The Grammys may not have gotten the media attention, but they definitely got gay.
All right, so many things I gotta say about that. First of all, Gaga is hanging out with a bunch of old superstars to steal their souls.
Oh.
That's all I gotta say. Watch out, Liza. Watch out, okay? I'm just saying. All right, Nas X was the best performance. Little Nas X was the best performance of the night by far.
By far.
3 songs in one. It was incredible.
Even
The
over
costume
Bruno?
changes and everything better than Bruno. Forget Bruno. We ain't talking about Bruno.
We don't
right?
talk
We don't
about
talk We don't talk about Bruno. Right? And he got nothing. He got snubbed. He didn't get not even one. And that was what I was waiting for.
But I actually have a question. So the Oscars viewership was down, of course, and it has been for a while. The Grammys, I haven't seen the numbers, but I'm assuming it was down too. Are we over award shows?
I
Yes.
don't think so.
Too many of them.
Maybe, actually, I was listening to I listened to a podcast about the Oscars, and they were talking about that, trying to make a show that should be about the quality of movies, trying to massify it may not be the best move, and it didn't work for the Oscars. But I thought the Grammys last night, they gave it a good spin, and having tables and people gathering in tables, that looked good. There was nothing overly controversial about it either. So I think Trevor Noah is
They
amazing.
mentioned the smack maybe once or twice, but it wasn't like a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal.
Questlove said, all right, everybody stay 500 feet from me,
Yeah.
and everybody's, ah!
Trevor Noah's joke about we're going to keep everybody out of everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I only watched some of the Grammys, only maybe a total of an hour. One of the things, and then watching the recap this morning, my two observations were, first, I was really glad nothing of significance happened, because the Oscars really soured me.
It really did.
And the last week, I'm going to do a commentary about this tomorrow of the slap. I was glad nothing happened, and it was just completely ordinary. But the problem with being completely ordinary is, unless you are titillizing, people don't pay attention. And people are not, I think the issue is not the award show. I think the issue is the platform. We are not watching broadcast television anymore. We're watching streaming on demand. And CBS and NBC and ABC, and CWs, and man, their future doesn't look bright. The only thing that's worse than them is a newspaper. But they're only a little bit ahead of the newspaper.
No,
and
but
I think that's what's happening.
But I have to agree with you, Al. Nobody watches TV that way anymore. To the point where I'm embarrassed to say, but I let the Grammys go for an hour and 15 minutes so I can fast forward the crap I didn't want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm so used to
I wanna
digital
watch
TV
it
that I
on
watch what I want to
demand.
watch
No
when I want to watch it.
That's exactly
But I have to say, there were things that were so good that I never expected to be like Lenny Kravitz and her singing together. They broke the house down.
That man doesn't age.
It was amazing.
And he had heels on.
Right?
It's interesting in what you're saying, Dino, because if you think about the Grammys, your point is there was fantastic content, but so many people are not even giving it the time, enough time to digest fantastic comment, because they're saying, unless you put yourself in front of me right now and show me and justify why I should watch, I'm not watching. And you're a different viewer than those people.
Right, but I think that the Grammys are funkier than the Oscars. Is too snobbish or too elitist.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons.
We unfortunately we've got to move on, but you are absolutely right in terms of elitist, and the proof of that is a man slapped another man live, and he got a standing ovation 20 minutes later.
Yes.
So they are definitely elitist. Definitely. All right, let's move on. If you are an avid watcher of Queer News Tonight, then you know about our Takeover series. This week, we are going to present the Business Takeover Show on Thursday. Our anchors will be Chef Josie, Glenn Weinsheimer, Jeff Oliverio, John Buckley, and Carvel Estraplet. Join them as they discuss issues that surround the LGBT workforce. The show will air live on Thursday, April 7th at 8 p.m.
I love all those guys, powerhouses. Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We're broadcasting live from that permanent set here at Sunshine and supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ+ religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
Hello, I'm Kishai Martin, board member of Unity Coalition, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, next we finish tonight's queer news headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus Flash News.
LGBTQ plus Flash News. Disgraced drag queen Sherry Pie makes return after 2 years of scandal. Sherry Pie was the second drag queen ever disqualified from RuPaul's Drag Race. While Willem got disqualified for getting freaky during the competition and became a bit of a running joke, Sherry was practically erased from Drag Race history. What was her crime? Allegedly catfishing aspiring actors and getting them to send her photos, some sexual in nature. 2 years later, she has finally returned to social media and drag, saying in a post, quote, "Hey all, I want to say thanks so much for the positivity. Returning to social media is a large step in my mental health journey, and this decision was not made lightly. It has been made easier by those who have stood by me as I learn and grow. I really appreciate your patience and the opportunity to share my art. I'm doing this for myself and for those who appreciate this. I understand that this will make some upset or angry. It's okay to be upset and feel what you can feel. I can only say I am a flawed human being doing my best to be a better person. I am a work in progress. Thank you." Sherry Pie. I thought once the pie was baked, you couldn't get it any darker.
Hashtag still rancid.
The guy she was catfishing is okay with her coming back, just not as a drag queen, apparently.
Oh. Well, I can see there's lots of forgiveness at this table tonight.
It says that she forced somebody to take steroids. How the hell do you how do you force somebody to take steroids unless they have an infection of some sort and she was trying to help them?
I'll show you later.
All right, thank you, Doc. LGBTQ plus Flash News. A Babe Ruth and Tiger Woods combined. LGBTQ plus sports giant. South Florida's Joyce dies.
Wait, is this a lesbian story?
It is. I'm so happy I got it. I'm the lesbian. Yay. All right. So, lesbian athlete Joyce was a softball legend, having struck out Baseball Hall of Famers Ted Williams and Hank Aaron, who I have no idea who they are. She was also the women's softball coach at Florida Atlantic University in Boca. Joyce was a basketball legend. When she played for the Amateur Athletic Union, she had a career scoring average of 30 points per game, and in a time before the three-pointer was introduced. Joyce was a volleyball legend also. She competed in the United States Volleyball Association's national tournament and was selected for the All-East regional team. Joyce was a bowling legend as well, winning the Connecticut state title less than a month after starting the sport and declining an offer to go professional. Joyce was a golf legend as well, qualifying for the LPGA Tour after only playing for 2 years, and at 42 set a record for the fewest putts in a single round. She also became the head women's golf coach at FAU. Of course she did. She was the greatest female athlete of all time, and she passed away in Boca at age 81 on March 26th. She truly made an impact on Women's History Month, both with her life and her passing. Thank you for representing every lesbian stereotype with humility and grace, Joan. You will not be forgotten.
I'm glad that we're remembering her, but I think we also forgot to mention that she was an expert in power tool lifting and in reversing U-Hauls.
And a spokesperson for Home Depot.
And a spokesperson for Home Depot. So.
R.I.P. all-around sports ball goddess.
I propose that the Trump Golf International be renamed for Joyce.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what's funny to me? I learned of her this week. I didn't know. She worked only 30 minutes from this studio, and I had never heard of her.
That's right.
We use the term GOAT, greatest of all time, and it applies in almost everything that she touched, meaning her was the GOAT in sports. And the other thing that is sad is if this would have been a man, this person would be world famous.
Yeah.
And they're not, because she's a woman. Well, in LGBTQ plus Flash News, I love this story. Trump tells Gays for Trump supporters they don't look gay at a Mar-a-Lago fundraiser over the weekend. Let that digest. Apparently, you have to look a certain way to be gay, according to disgraced former President Trump. Phone footage from a fundraiser over the weekend at Mar-a-Lago for congressional candidate John Gibbs showed number 45 asking the crowd, "Where are the gays for Trump? Where are they?" When a group in the crowd yells, "We're over here," he looks at them and says, "You don't look gay." In an interview about the event with Newsweek, the Gays for Trump founder, see Peter, we're getting your name in, Peter Boykin, said the group, quote, "probably wouldn't look gay because it's a stereotype that fits more with the typical look of leftist LGBT. Not the same of us. We might look fabulous and gay. Otherwise, it was a suit and tie event. So unless one of us was wearing a Joker suit, meh, you can't make this up. Watch this.
Thank you very much. Where's gays for Trump? You don't look gay.
You know good. He said you don't look gay.
We did great with the gay population.
You know, in seriousness, when I watched this tape over the weekend, I thought, what would it be like to be a more vanilla version of Latino or black? You don't look black.
Straights, breeders, heteros. That's not a compliment. When you say that, you're like Trump.
Hey, Trump, you don't look like a president.
They don't look gay because they're homosexuals. Big difference.
They must be loving this. Don't they call themselves the gay luck-having Republicans? Is that what it is? Okay, so let's LGBTQ plus flash news. Your first look of Tom Daley's new line of Willy warmers. Queer News Tonight has repeatedly reported on gay Olympic diver Tom Daley. Everyone now knows about his knitting obsession, and we reported recently on an interview that his most requested item were cock socks. He recently...
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Cock socks.
Cock socks, okay.
He recently posted on Instagram that he was releasing a line of the cozy accessories, saying in the post, quote, "So excited to launch the official hashtag Made with Love Willy warmer. With fuel prices on the up, this will keep your or a loved one's pecker perky and piping hot all year round," end of quote.
Say that fast 3 times.
We do want to point out the date of the announcement as April 1st, however. So I'd like to see him modeling, but I really do.
It doesn't become real unless you see it.
That's
on
right.
his live. Got it. I'm curious to see if this week he breaks and reveals that it was an April Fool's joke. I don't think it was.
I need one of those pecker warmers, but without the ball area.
The only thing I need to keep my perky pecker warm is Tom Daley.
There you go.
Nice. Does anyone know if Peter Basuito is crocheting? LGBTQ plus flash news. This week's SNL became the coming out vehicle for black gay comedian Jerrod Carmichael. On Friday, the former Carmichael's Show star Jerrod Carmichael came out as gay on his new HBO special, Nathaniel. He then followed that up with his first time ever hosting Saturday Night Live. During his SNL monologue, he said he discussed coming out on the special and explained that that was why he lives in New York, saying, quote, "If you say you're gay in New York, you can ride the bus for free, and people will give you pizza. You get to host Saturday Night Live. This is the gayest thing you can do." Let me just say to Jerrod, thank you for representing, because as we always say, representation matters.
I'm going to say that probably he was nervous coming out on SNL because the sketch was a little lame.
Ooh. I can't help but wonder about the tens of thousands that are trying to decide if they come out If you need the vehicle of Saturday Night Live to do it, ooh, there's a lot of people in 22 that are going to stay in the club.
You know, he said that, he said many of us would rather die than come to terms with being gay. Okay, here's another reminder as to why Don't Say Gay is going to really affect a lot of people moving forward.
Yes.
I became gay for the bus pass and pizza.
Yeah.
There you go.
For sure.
So that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you are a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
And if our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these type of LGBTQ plus stories. Willy warmers, I mean, come on. And these stories are in motion and sound. That is the passion of the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, Dr. Tai Houser, Dino Mosquera. Go to the Outshine Film Festival.
Right.
We're going to be talking about it a lot in coming weeks. And Gregg Shapiro. And we will see you daily at 8 p.m. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBT